Hey, hey, hey.
Hi, how are you? Oh,
I'm really good.
There we go.
I can hear you.
All right, there we go.
Guys, guess what? Next week is Christmas.
I'm not ready.
Oh, I'm not ready either. But are you ever ready? Like as ready as I try to be.
I'm very nervous. So we're leaving, Thursday to go to New York.
Yeah.
And
You're going to NYC.
NYC, but we're coming home on Sunday and then 2 days till Christmas. So I'm like, I have to get everything done before we leave. And I just don't think that's happening.
Good luck with that.
I know. So it'll be fine. Everything's fine. I'm looking forward to going, but I'm very nervous. Everyone keeps saying that the crowds are like the worst they've ever been.
Oh, it's New York City. Like I've never been to New York when it hasn't been crazy. So I mean, it's part of the fun. It's like all the people, everybody's there to see like all the hot spots, and it'll be so fun.
Like the last two years that we went to Disney, we were there at like the worst times, right? We were like spring break and Thanksgiving, and we survived that. I'm like, so it'll be like that was. Yeah, maybe worse.
It'll be fun. I don't think it'd be like New York if you didn't go and there were lots of people.
There's cilantro on my teeth.
I think it'll be nice.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm very excited for you to see the Rockettes.
I'm very excited. We're going to see the Rockettes. We are going to see Six. We have some fun dinner reservations. Some of the places we want to go don't take reservations, and I'm a little nervous about that because, like, I can handle like a 45-minute or an hour wait, but I'm not going to like waste 2 or 3 hours. Do you know what I'm saying?
Where do you want to eat that doesn't take a reservation?
So the one place that Liv really wants to go, which a friend of ours, Betsy, she mentioned this as well and said it's definitely worth it, is this Ellen Stardust Diner, which it's all of the Broadway actors, like when they're not working, are working there, and they perform, like they literally climb up on the tables. It's super cheesy and so fun and over the top. And so we really want to go there, and it actually works out well. We get in kind of like later, like 8 o'clock on Thursday. So we were like, that'd be great. We'll just go they're open till midnight. So we're
Thursday
like, we'll go for
is like your
dinner.
Late night. It's the go out night.
Yeah. We'll go for a late dinner there and
eat a bagel for me while you're there.
I can't. I'm dying. I'm
Someone
like,
in your family can.
Oh, well, my mom and Olivia will for sure. Yeah. So we're doing all the things, but that's like another thing I want to like take a little time. I have everything planned out that I want to do with the exception of like a little bit on Saturday afternoon. I'm like into the evening. That is like we have nothing. And I'm like, I mean, we have a million things.
Yeah.
But I have to
What day are you going to the Today Show so we can all watch?
Friday morning.
Friday morning. Are you going to get there at 4:30?
We're going to go really early.
Yeah.
So it's set now. It says that it doesn't open up to the public until 6, but like
there'll be people. Outside.
Right. Exactly. So, and it's right downstairs from our hotel. So we can literally just wake up and go. So, yeah, we're going to do that. And then we're going to, I forget what else we're doing that morning and before we go to the Rockettes. And then after the Rockettes, we'll kind of shop around, like Times Square, Rockefeller Center, we'll go see like the Fifth Avenue storefronts and all that. So that's kind of like a fun afternoon. And we're going to try to go to Bryant Park, but I'm hearing mixed reviews. Everyone's like, Bryant Park is the greatest place ever with the most fun little shops. And then the other side is it's literally going to be so busy that you can't get into the shops. So I'm a little like, oh.
Well, you should go.
We're gonna try it,
and if it like.
Well, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. If it doesn't work, great, we're on to the next. You know what I mean? So it'll be great. I'm looking forward to all of it. I'm just feeling very overwhelmed. Everyone's like, do not be afraid of the subway because it will get you everywhere you want to go faster. So I'm trying really hard to not be afraid of the subway. But what I am afraid of is not the subway or the people or any of that. I'm trying to learn and figure out like, okay, if I jump on here,
download
then I need
the app. You're going to get your app. You got to do.
Yes. So I'm a little, I think I'm just intimidated. I'm not scared. I'm intimidated about all of it. So it'll be fine. And no offense to my mom, who I love to death, but she is the absolute worst when it comes to any of that kind of stuff. Like she's good and bad in those circumstances. I'll be the one that
you're
going to
be the one that's
going
to be like leading the way.
Right. So I think it's just like a lot of pressure, and I want it to be a great trip. It's actually for her birthday. So like, I want it to be a good trip. So yeah, it'll be fun
a good trip.
regardless. And it's a very quick trip. Like we're coming home Sunday morning. And then get ready for Christmas.
It'll be great.
Tom and I have a grocery shopping date Sunday afternoon to go get all of our food for Christmas.
That's what I told Bill the other day. Here's the difference. Like I can plan ahead. Like I do not want to go to the store the week of Thanksgiving. I want to get all the things that I can get. And within reason, like there's some things you can't get, but I wanted to find the perfect, because we're going to do for Christmas dinner, prime rib.
So are we.
And so I wanted to get the perfect prime rib.
So did you get it already? This is a conversation we've been
having. No, I wanted to. And if I had my own way, I would have.
So
because I would have froze it.
So my mother-in-law won't let us get it until the weekend before because she says you cannot freeze it first.
Oh, you can. And I think it's actually better.
I'm just telling you.
But
that's why we're going Sunday to go buy a prime rib.
So I hope that there's one left.
I hope they have any. Right.
Yeah. Because I'm like, well, then I just want to call and reserve one because I don't want to not get one. Well, not at Costco if that's where you're going.
That's where we were going to go
so
get it.
We went to Heinen's and then Bill's like, oh, well, this is good because it's wrapped. So it was good through Christmas. And I'm like, oh, I don't like those. I don't want
it. If you're buying it now, it shouldn't be good till Christmas.
So, because it's wrapped in all the preservatives.
Yeah.
So
we're going to try Costco. We're going to go Sunday. We're going to be the crazy people there the Sunday before Christmas. We're fully aware.
It'll probably be us. We'll probably see you there.
We'll
actually,
see you there.
You just want to go get mine.
Sure. I'll grab it.
No
for
pressure
you.
picking it out. It's got to be the right one.
Oh my gosh. And then that's the other thing is my mother-in-law. So she never lets us like do the main dish, right? Like it's always.
She's been letting you do this lately.
We did turkey for Thanksgiving.
And it turned out so good.
Came out great. Right. But so this year she's like, oh yeah, you can do, we're kind of debating between a tenderloin and a prime rib actually. So it'll just kind of depend what they have at Costco to be.
If you want a tenderloin, I've got them in the freezer.
Do you?
Yes.
Well, I was just going to get a big one at Costco.
Well, don't buy it. We've got them.
All right. So anyway, our plan was we'll go and we'll, see whatever's there and we'll get whatever's
like a lot.
Okay. All right.
They probably like 5.
Why do you have 5 tenderloins?
Well, because when we processed these cows, we kept the tenderloins because
you can cut them now. Maybe.
Well, the guy was like, because normally I was just gonna have everything ground because cows are older and tough, and so we've had it before. I don't know if you did, but we've eaten it before.
I'm sure. We have.
So, but they're like they looked so good. Like we saved them for you. Like it would have been a travesty if you would have ground these, and they actually do. They looked really good, and we cooked them, and they were absolutely delicious. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, our plan was to do that, but my mother-in-law is so funny. She gave me these like strict rules of buying the prime rib.
What were her rules for buying? These are Maria Michelle.
No, it's not like rules, but she was we could not go sooner. We had to go the weekend before Christmas to get it because it cannot be frozen. 2, she wants a 7-pound. Like she's very particular.
Bone in.
But no, what did she tell
boneless.
me? Did she say bone in or no bone? Right. No bone.
7 pounds. That's a lot of meat.
It's a lot of meat.
Who are you feeding?
There's 14 of us.
Okay.
There's a good amount, but it's not that many.
That's a lot of meat.
It's a lot of meat for 14 people. I mean,
but not really.
Eat
She's counting a half a pound per person. I would not be.
No, that's what I'm saying. And when I say 14, I'm counting like
little kids.
I mean, my niece is 7. I don't see her eating a half pound of meat.
Yeah,
it's an aggressive amount of food.
It is.
But I wouldn't expect any different from her either.
We don't want to run out, of course.
God forbid.
That'd be bad.
God forbid. So we're just, trying to get everything ready. I stayed up late last night packing or wrapping gifts, and I'm going to do it again tonight.
I got to go home because so this is super cool. Bill and Sam left early this morning. They went down to Marysville and were able to go in one of the wind tunnels and see some aerodynamic things. So they did that today. Sam got to drive in the wind tunnel, which is very exciting. Cool. No photo documentation, of course. No photos allowed because of the technologies. But then they went and did some shopping in Columbus. So I got to go unload all the things. So I think I'm going to let it sit in my car overnight.
That's probably smart. And then
when the kids are gone, then I will Campbell's not going to be gone, but it's not her gift. So
that's interesting that he got to go into the wind tunnel.
He did. I forget what he got to drive. It was some Acura, fancy, expensive car.
When Tom's dad used to work for NASA, he's retired now, but when he worked there, he worked in the wind tunnels at John Glenn, and he was an electrician by trade, and so they literally would run them in the middle of the night because they would use so much electricity to test out basically what a rocket would do in space. And so they would have to run it at night because otherwise it would literally cause like a brownout across Cleveland with the amount of energy that it consumes. It's so cool, like the stuff that they would do, but I don't know. It just reminded me of that.
Yeah.
That's really
fun
cool
things. It was very interesting, a great day. And a lot of other things came from it, just like scheduling some other meetings and appointments, just like meet other people. And
such a great opportunity.
Yeah. So that was today, but I got to get those gifts out. I can't forget that.
Yes.
So
At about 11 o'clock last night, I was sitting. So my car has, we drive a Traverse, and in the back of the Traverse, when the third row's up, you obviously lose like all trunk space. It's not very roomy back there, but there is this little compartment underneath. Yeah. Which is great. Like, I mean, you can fit we'll fit like cases of water in there when we do road trips, stuff like that. Like, it's fantastic. So every time I go shopping, if I'm like going to get the kids after school or whatever, and it's something small, I'll throw it in there so that they don't see it. It's my hidden spot. Well, I forgot about it. And so last night I'm wrapping gifts, and I'm like, where the heck is like, I bought Joey like a hat. And I was like, where's that hat? Like, so at 11 o'clock last night, Tom was cleaning out my car and getting all of these things. Yeah. Like bringing them all in so that I could wrap. But yeah, moving along, getting it all done. So.
I should go home and do some wrapping, but we have a lot of gifts that aren't here yet. And I think that's like a lot of Americans. Same. Things are held up with FedEx, and UPS is doing pretty good.
UPS has been great. I had
the Postal Service, not so much, but why am I shocked?
I had an interesting, well, that's because they know your last name. And
I think they do know my last name, and they purposely delay things.
I had an interesting conversation with our FedEx driver today, actually, because
Was he in uniform today?
He was not.
He's never in uniform.
I have never seen him in a FedEx
doesn't
uniform.
like that.
I don't either. I don't think it's right.
But we know him, so I don't care.
Yeah, but what if
I don't know him.
No, but
like,
we know he's our
driver.
Right.
So yes, if you didn't know him.
I find it to be odd. But this was interesting. So he pulled up at about 10 a.m., which I thought was odd because he's never that early. Exactly. And what I had been waiting for has been sitting in the FedEx facility in Twinsburg, Ohio for the last 3 days. I've been tracking it. And it only came from Berea, which is about 40 minutes from our house. So even more frustrating, maybe 45, 50 minutes. But what's even more frustrating is I was going to drive to just pick it up because I needed it. And I thought, you know what? I'll just go pick it up. It did all work out. It was just more frustrating than anything. But so it sat there for 3 days in this FedEx facility. So when he got there, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I've been waiting 3 days. It's been sitting in Twinsburg. And he's like, do you see my truck? And he shows me the inside of his truck, and it's empty at 10 a.m. And I'm like, what is going on? He's like, they can't get to anything in like the big warehouse. He's like, everything is a mess in there, and they can't even load the trucks. This is what he was telling me. So like, our friend Carrie, like she said, her Christmas cards have been sitting there for like over a week. Amy that we work with said that like she's had something sitting there for like 2 weeks in Twinsburg. Like, it's so bad. So if you have anything that's going to go through Twinsburg, FedEx.
So what are they going to do about it?
I don't know. And like, I mean, he's like, I don't care. I'm going home early today. That's what he told me. I was like, oh, great. And I just ordered myself a new pair of tennis shoes, and they're coming FedEx.
What did you order?
The exact same pair of On Clouds that I already have.
Oh.
But they're so cozy, and I love them. And they were technically last year's model, so they were on sale. And I was like, you know what? I love them. And
I'm going to wrap those up for Christmas?
He already told me I have to. He's such a turd. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have to wrap my own gifts. Yeah. Did you ever see the thing like the Saturday Night Live skit, Mom Got a Robe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or like Mom's Christmas stocking.
I think that everyone that works at the market should not wrap my Christmas presents like normally happens. He takes the wrapping paper over and has them wrapped.
Yeah, or they get shipped to my house.
Right. So I'm like, no, nobody should wrap the presents. He should have to wrap them himself.
Your birthday, I had to wrap all the presents.
That was ridiculous. As if the man can't do it.
I actually had to wrap your mom's too.
I'm sorry. Is he too busy to do it? He left.
In between naps or what?
He's in DC for 3 days. But so right after Columbus, he flew out of Columbus into DC. And so we were laughing all the things that he left behind, like the massive pile of trash that hasn't been taken out.
Half the market is filled with like bins
not anymore.
Of trash.
It's already done.
Did you do it?
But no, this is actually good. So I was going to wait till it didn't rain because I already got soaking wet, like hosing out all the donut boxes that the sprinkles. So we took donuts to the school today, which is actually interesting. I feel very safe about our school system because I pulled up and the police officer came right out and said, I'm sorry, ma'am, all deliveries have to go to the other side of the school. I'm like, oh, no. I'm Kristin Patterson. I have your donuts. And he's like, I don't know anything about donuts. So I'm like, oh, well, the PTO we donated, arranged for donuts to be delivered. And he's like, I don't know anything about donuts, ma'am. And then out comes the PTO mom. She's like, oh, thanks for bringing. He's like, oh, okay. You can unload your donuts. But it was great because I was not offended at all. He was very nice because I'm like, he's protecting the kids.
That's right. It was very, very secure.
Because this weird lady in a big white truck was pulling in with 3 gray boxes.
It is a little creepy. But then what happened?
So anyways, so then I told the lady, just put them outside the door and I'll come back. So I don't have to like go into the school and get them. I have not done my whole photo identity thing with the school. So at our school now you have to supply a driver's license and then they have to run you a check and then you get it back. And I think you're good for a month or something like that.
So every time you want to enter the school.
Right. So anyway, so they set him outside. Well, then when I went back to pick him up, the kids were going to meet me and help me load them back into the truck. And so she's like, oh no, she already picked him up. I didn't pick him up. They blew over into like the grassy, muddy area. So all the sprinkles and all the trays were now dumped into the box. So it looked like Christmas sprinkles exploded everywhere.
It was so festive.
It was very festive. So I had to take them out and power wash them out because it was a real mess. But now they're very clean. And it was raining.
To be honest, they probably needed it. So
yeah, they're pretty clean.
It's probably better. But why?
So we got that done.
Yeah. So you didn't have to take the trash?
So then I came back. So Bill's like, just do the trash tomorrow morning early.
Yeah.
And then it'll be done. And it's not, you won't get more wet, being on the tow motor. So then Bob had a few rude comments and then he was there and he's like, just starts to take it out. And I'm like, oh, that's really nice. I'm like, so here's the deal, Bob. You don't have to get me a Christmas present this year.
This is my gift.
Because you can make this my gift. And he's like, which was great. So we got everything cleaned up. So, no, it's okay. We're just running out of space.
Oh, okay.
Probably because our podcast last week was so long.
I talked a lot, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
It was a very long one.
It's fine.
So anyways, we're getting everything ready for Christmas. We have my family Christmas this weekend. We still have quite a few gifts that haven't come. I don't know. What else do you have going on? I haven't baked a single Christmas cookie, which I want to.
I shouldn't say that. So this is actually really funny. So
you did, it sounds like.
We did, but I totally copped out and I've never done this before. So Joey has been bothering me to make Christmas cookies and I had to work yesterday. We've gotten it's our shipping season for Christmas and I had to work. Like there was just no way out of it. And so I told him, I promise you when I come home, we'll make cookies. The day before we had gone to Target, we had to get a couple things and I remembered we had no sugar. So I was like, oh, let's grab a bag of sugar so we can make our Christmas cookies. Cause I was just going to do sugar cookies. So Target was out of sugar. Like, how is that even a thing? So I had to buy, because we weren't going anywhere else, I bought a Pillsbury sugar cookie mix. I've never used it before.
Me either.
I felt like I copped out big time on this one because I'm not like a homemade mama, but that kind of stuff I do. But so whatever. But Kristin would be proud of me because
this was impressive.
So I bought, we let him pick out all the fun sprinkles and all that stuff, and we got like the the icing that you write with and all that. And I said, oh, we have to make sure we get a can of, frosting for the cookies. We forgot the can of frosting. And I was like, well, it was already like 5:30 or 6 when I got home last night.
You should have just called me. I have some.
I actually was going to. And then I thought, you know what? I bet you I can make homemade frosting. Mm-hmm. It was so easy. But I made homemade frosting. Who would have thunk it?
It is.
It really was so easy.
One time I posted, because I make my cutout cookies from scratch. But I posted a picture. It's a family recipe and we were icing them and someone sent me a message and they're like, I'm shocked about your picture. And I'm like, oh, what? And they're like, you had a can of Pillsbury frosting with the cookies. And I'm like, oh yeah, I love their buttercream frosting. Yeah. It's easy. It's like a little shortcut.
Like, here's my thing I made these out of a package.
You did the
yesterday.
opposite.
I did do the opposite. Right. I just have to laugh because I don't know. It wasn't that bad, to be honest with you.
Kind of nice,
and it was a lot easier. Well, I made these cookies in 2 minutes. I was like, well, this is kind of nice. Now, it's not the same. I will be very honest with you. It is not the same. But the kids said they tasted fine. I did not eat them because I'm gluten-free. I can't eat them. But the kids said they were fine. I was like, whatever. And honestly, nobody eats these darn Christmas cookies.
Yeah.
We do them as to do them because the kids like to do it. But they each decorated 3 and left me and Joey to do 25 of them. So it was fine.
So are you going to save these till Christmas?
We probably will because he made one specifically for Santa. And so he wrote Hi Santa on some of them. And so we will probably save these for Christmas, but I will make, which I was hoping to do before I left, and I don't think it's going to happen, so I'm going to have to do it when I get back. I make Oreo balls every year, and we always give those out. And
yeah, can I put in an order for those?
Yes, my friend Carrie already has as well. Yes, so, and actually so has Claudia at work. She has also put in an order.
They're a lot of work.
They are a lot of work, but they really are beautiful when they're done.
I need to make my bourbon balls.
Ooh.
I'll trade you Oreo balls for bourbon balls.
Deal. We'll have our own little cookie exchange.
You can actually eat those too.
Yeah, I would eat those.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're gluten free.
Yeah. So I'm gonna and I like the Oreo balls because I can make a little batch for myself with gluten-free Oreos. Yeah. So at some point I have to make those. I don't know when. It's comical.
Well, we went to the rodeo this week. Oh, we're almost out of time again. But Jack rode a steer, not a bull, steers, but back home, and so it was kind of fun to be in town. We did a lot of like local things in our little town of Canal Winchester, which reminds me of Chagrin Falls, but it's maybe even a little more Hallmarky because it's like more shops. But it was really fun. We went to just a couple local businesses and visited with my grandma, and it was a nice little weekend. So the Pattersons were out like doing local things. It was great. Fun. Yeah, it was a nice time. Good. Okay, friends.
All right. Well, when
we're out of time. We're over again. It'll be Christmas Eve. Yeah. Woo! Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness. It's my brother's birthday. Oh, it is. Until next time, friends, we're mismatched.